And hello, everybody, and welcome to our show. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr., University of Miami head coach Mark Richt, the Mark Richt Show, presented by Williamson Automotive. And, Coach, great to see you again, and coming off a great win, a good win the other night against FAU.
No, it was good. Wins are good. I thought the guys played extremely hard and physical on both sides of the ball. Defense played about as good as you can play. There was only really one bad snap that I could remember when their running back scored, actually broke 2 tackles. We had a safety right in the spot to put him down, and then he breaks that tackle, and then down the field he breaks another tackle and takes it to the end zone. But other than that, I thought we tackled extremely well. There's a couple things that got away from us, but not much at all defensively. Offensively, the running game, again, was outstanding. Offensive line play, tight end, fullbacks. Fullback was big Marquez. He was knocking them out of the box pretty good. And then the receivers, again, downfield blocking. I told Coach Dugans I've seen more downfield blocking in 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, than I've probably seen in the last couple years. So really impressed with the coaching and the effort given by the players. Passing game just struggled. We struggled. Some of it was protection, some of it was accuracy, some of it was just not hanging on to the ball or making a play. And we had our moments, but it was not a consistent enough effort to sit there and try to sling the ball every down. So, and we're not about that anyway. But the run game settled things down for us, which was good.
Coach, let's talk about the value of a running game when things aren't going right in the passing game, and also if a defense is having a long day, that running game can heal a lot of things that can ail you.
Oh, it can, and if you run it in such a way that it allows your backs to do their thing. Like I said, if you get the linemen blocking, tight ends blocking, fullbacks blocking, receivers blocking, usually there's only one guy left. And our backs have done a really good job of making that last guy miss or breaking a tackle and getting a long run. So, it's been a good effort.
Well, your guys, both Mark Walton and Joe Yearby, have shown a real nose for the end zone.
Yeah, they have. It sure takes all the pressure off the red zone calls. Anytime you can knock it in, it's good. I mean, just like even on the long pass to Njoku, if we just could have hit him on the dead run and we score, we don't have to worry about having to kick a field goal and getting it blocked or kicking it too low or whatever the issue was.
I thought you made a very cool comment after the game, and maybe it was on Twitter, where you said to the fans, "Thank you for showing our team so much love," and that's really part of what goes on, right? When a team feels love and there's a love affair, and hopefully they're falling in love with your team.
Well, I mean, if you're a fan, you're a fan, and fans make the game. It's just not that exciting to play the game without the fans. It's not that exciting to enter the stadium without the cane walk. It's not exciting to have something good happen without the band there to play and the cheerleaders and everybody else involved, even rolling into the stadium. If you roll into an empty parking lot, it's a downer. It hurts, But you roll in there and you see all the tailgaters, and you see everybody waiting to greet them at the Hurricane Walk. I mean, it makes a huge difference for our guys. And you walk in there, you see all the students ready to go and play in their spot, to harass the other team. I mean, it's college football, man. And I'll tell you something else. It makes a huge impression on recruits. I mean, if you're a fan and you want recruits to come, you got to show them that you love your team, no matter what.
All right, now let's take a look at the highlights brought to you by UL Sports Medicine. We'll get you back in the game. Welcome back, everyone, to the Mark Richt Show, presented by Williamson Automotive.
Coach, defensively, again, you know, as you talked about, they played almost as good a game as almost you can ask for. That whole energy has been maintained through the whole ball game as well. Time of possession was a little bit more even this week than last week. But how are they doing it? What's keeping their attention?
Well, they just, you know, they're taking pride in getting better every day in practice and throughout the games. And, you know, by no means has it been perfect, but, you know, usually hustle, you know, effort, physicality, and good fundamental tackling will solve a lot of problems. And even if you make a mistake and you get the guy on the ground, you get to play another down. If you make a mistake in the perimeter and they you know, get a long touchdown pass, you can't recover from that. So when we made the mistakes, we've still been able to corral people and get them on the ground and line up and go do it again.
Boatload of tackles for losses, leading the nation in tackles for losses and run defense. And when you're able to do that, Coach, then, as we saw in the game the other night, that really puts the pressure on the opponent on third down, puts them in a lot of third downs. I think they were only 4 or 5 for 20 on third downs.
Right. And, well, what happens is when they get in third and long, it's obviously a tough time to make something good happen, especially with some of the exotic looks that Coach Diaz will give those guys. And then that causes confusion for the quarterback and confusion on protections, and before you know it, you're getting sacks. And then the other thing is, if you get your margin, you know, if you get a lead, then it makes it even more desperate for the other team. And a case in point, just going for it twice on fourth down, deep in their territory, and then all of a sudden the field position swings, you know, dramatically.
Coach, penalty-wise, I know you're a little disappointed in that category, so it gives you something to work on this week.
Yeah, it does. We had a good discussion about that today, as a matter of fact, as a staff, as far as, you know, how, I mean, we got to stick these guys to where it's painful enough where they stop doing the foolish things, the little chicken fight stuff at the end of a play. Just when the play's over, go back to the huddle, or if it's a kick and snap, then run off the field. You know, that's it. There should never be a penalty at the end of a play when the play's over. Right. That's totally foolish, selfish, undisciplined. You know, there's some other penalties. You know, if a guy flinches, sometimes a guy flinches. I mean, you don't like that. It's not a good thing. Or even downfield, a guy's busting his tail downfield blocking, and he gets called for holding. You know, that's bad. But it's nothing like when a play's over and you become more worried about yourself than the team, and that's we just can't have that.
There were some big defensive hits.
There were.
Mike Pickney leading the charge. He had himself a heck of a ball game, but in general, the defense, there were some very physical plays.
Right. Was it Rayshawn? Was it
Rayshawn,
Jenkins?
yeah.
He had a big lick.
Yeah.
And the other guy was helping him. I forgot who it was. I think it was Chad. Chad was coming after him from behind, and Rayshawn was coming from the front, and that guy, he had to lay there a minute to find out if he was still okay. But a lot of physical play, a lot of running to the ball, a lot of game tackling. Even when we've made some mistakes, when everybody rallies to the ball, even if they get a 6-7 yard gain, whatever it is, they usually pay a price at the end of it, which is what good defensive teams do.
Coach, you've got special teams as well. You had some good and some bad on that
department
as well.
Yeah, we did. Well, we blocked another punt, which is great. You know, it's film study. You know, you're in punt safe. Punt safe, it's a 4-down lineman and 4-backer look or whatever it is. And so when the punting team sees punt safe, they're thinking, well, they're not coming after us. And I can take my sweet time. And sometimes the shield that they call it in front of the punter, they kind of relax, and we saw it on tape. Coach Hartley saw it on tape and brought it to their attention, and McIntosh just blasts right through and blocks the darn thing, and so that was wonderful. And then of course then we're going after another one where we're in earnest, a true punt block look, and we do a poor job of running into the kicker, which. I told the staff today that, the margin for error is getting smaller and smaller as we go. And, we have done things that can get you beat.
That's right.
Like that. That gets you beat. Usually if you rough the kicker and you make the defense play another rack, it's just, it's not good. It can cost you the game, and or a foolish penalty that we've had, or whatever it may be. We've done enough things. Two picks. You shouldn't win if you have 2 picks, and you rough the kicker, and you have 9 penalties. You shouldn't win. Mm-hmm. But we won. Okay, so now let's take advantage of the fact that we won a game, and we still can make corrections without having to get all sad and bent out of shape to start trying to correct things.
Coach, I think one of the most impressive things of the ball game to me was the last 4 or 5 minutes when you decided you're going to run the football and you're going to eat up all that clock and not throw it. And everybody gelled together. The O-line took it upon themselves, and then of course everybody else got involved, and you marched down the field and put one up.
Yeah, well, 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and 1 receiver. We call it 22 personnel, but it is a time to try to finish the game. I mean, people call it their 4-minute offense. They're trying to take that last drive, take all the air out of the game, and try to get to the point where when you finish, you want to finish with a score, obviously, but sometimes more importantly, you want to kill that clock to where the other team has no chance of victory.
All right, and we will continue right here on the Mark Richt Show right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Mark Richt Show, presented by Williamson Automotive.
Coach, a lot of freshmen. This is going to be a big game for the freshmen. We're on the road for the first time. You got them back-to-back weeks at home, and now we're getting on the plane and getting on the bus and going to the hotel.
Yeah, it'll be different. I mean, it'll be different for all of us, too. I mean, I've been coaching a long time and taking a lot of road trips, but now it's the first time at Miami. It's the first time with this airlines. It's the first time at this venue. It's the first time that we as a staff are going through how we're going to handle not only a away game, but a noon game. I mean, we had 2 games in a row, 6 o'clock. Well, guess what? The second time around, it was a lot easier than the first time around. Now it's the first time around of a noon game, and you have to, schedule your meetings a little bit different and handle the night before just a little bit different. So there's a few firsts going on.
And this is going to be a wild event. It's Boone, North Carolina. I've been to Boone a lot in the summertime. Used to go. In fact, a lot of Floridians go to Boone in the summertime. There might be more Florida license tags up there than anything, but little stadium, be packed 23 to 30,000. They're putting more seats on the field, and they're a well-coached team. Oh my gosh! And defensively,
I think they may be. I don't know if they're the best coached team in America, but they're one of them. I mean, you watch that tape, buddy, and they are playing ball. They strike like you wouldn't believe on defense. Run to the football. They don't, they don't try to trick you. They just line up and play good base fundamental football. They do the same thing in the special teams. Tremendous. Offensively, they're going to, you talk about running the ball now, they're going to run the ball. They're going to come after us. They come after everybody. And gosh, the first play, you ought to get film of this sometime. The first play of their offense versus Tennessee's defense, they take their Tennessee's nose guard and double team him and the linebacker all the way past the numbers and out of bounds. They blocked them out of bounds about 30, maybe 20 yards away from where they started the block. And they're tenacious. They don't fear anybody. They don't. They're going to come after you. So unbelievable challenge, and the coaching staff there need to be commended.
Coach, they've done a good job of selectively recruiting as well. You see a lot of Georgia kids on the roster. They come down to Florida to get some, and a lot of kids from the Carolinas as well. So they've worked out a niche there, picking up a lot of players that have either been overlooked or might be a tad undersized for what other people feel. But there is no lack of effort, and there's a lot of athleticism as well.
Great athleticism. Super quick, super strong. And again, they just play so hard. They were, well, I won't say what they remind me of because, I don't want people to think it's a fair or unfair. But, another team that I've coached against over the years that just seems to get every ounce that they can get out of their players. That's what these guys do. And it is a big part of coaching, but it's also those players who you can tell they love the game and how they play it is just it's fun to watch unless you're getting ready for them.
And therein lies the reason you said you don't need to say much except turn on the tape. I mean, because the players are well aware of what happens in a ball game.
People always ask, how can you get them ready for this game? I said, just watch the film.
Just watch
the film. It's just like, our fullback, Marquez Williams, he's put enough on tape where whoever's going to be on the other side of him has got to decide how I'm going to handle this thing because he's coming at me. And that's how they are as a team. They come after you. And it's going to take all we got.
All right, Coach, thanks very much, and the best of luck against Appalachian State.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to the game.
All right, that's University of Miami head coach Mark Richt, and we'll continue on the Mark Richt Show right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Mark Richt Show. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr. We are presented by Williamson Automotive. On Saturday, it is Miami and Appalachian State from Boone, North Carolina, with a 12 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. Biggest event perhaps ever in Boone in terms of athletics, and a very big challenge for the University of Miami.
Well, I'll tell you also, Joe, there's a lot of freshmen playing on this football team. It's going to be a big event for them, too. They're getting on a plane for the first time on a travel game for the University of Miami. They're going to walk into a very hostile environment. Maybe not the biggest environment that they've faced, but certainly the most hostile that they'll see. It's going to be a great challenge for this football team.
Mountaineers are a very experienced team. The starting quarterback has lots of games under his belt, big games under his belt, and 25 starts under his belt.
Well, he's thrown touchdowns. They were just in Knoxville playing the University of Tennessee, and he wasn't rattled there. They've got a running back, and Cox, who does a great job, is going to leave there with probably 4,000 yards rushing. And they've got a defense that plays all over the field. I mean, they bring a lot of pressure. They're very intense. They try and create problems. So Miami's got to make sure that they play Miami football. You can't stack interceptions on top of block kicks, on top of penalties, and hope to come out with a happy ending. You've got to play a solid football game.
Hurricanes have done a great job with their defense so far, getting negative plays, and then offensively, they have been able to run the football.
Well, we have a guy like Shaq Quarterman, and you see what he's able to do because he's bought in. And then you look at the intensity of the coaches, and you understand why the violence and the intensity is coming on the playing field. But I think what everybody's getting a chance to see is you're seeing a unit. And I think that's the important thing to talk about. They're playing as a unit. Everybody's doing their job. Everybody's buying into the coaching. Everybody understands what the outcome will be if you do it this way, and they're buying in.
All right, well, for the Hurricanes to have success, I think they're going to have to match the energy, the emotion, and the execution of Appalachian State. Should be a good one. Looking forward to it, Don Bailey Jr. For Don Bailey Jr. and University of Miami head coach Mark Richt, I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next time right here on the Mark Richt Show.